Hey guys, Ralph's Automotive Service. This is kind of after the fact kind of video, but we're working on a 2004 Nissan Altima, and what I'm doing here is coolant flush. And I kind of walk you through there and show you just how easy it is to do a coolant flush. Now, like I said, I jumped the gun a little bit and I thought, well, this would be a good one for a video, but here we go anyway. I've recovered the coolant. That's all been thrown away already, but I've got everything unbolted, but I'll show you what you got to do and how you got to do it. I apologize, I'm out here in the sun. I can't hardly see. I don't like to do this inside my shop, and I don't want to have the door open to do this because the shop's air conditioned and I don't want the air to escape. Okay, what you need to do, there's basically 2 bolts down there. There's 2 bolts, and let's see, there is a corresponding housing, which it is right here. Here is the corresponding housing. So just like this. Yep. Let me try to move my hand here, get a better exposure. So this is what that looks like. Now this one has a thermostat, and this one here, that is another housing which has also got a thermostat right here. There's 4 bolts, or 2 bolts, 2 nuts that hold this on. And first thing we do is, I always got a habit of removing the intake boot. It's just easier to get to. It takes a couple of seconds to remove it. I unplug everything simply because I also unplugged the mass airflow because I'm fixing to pull it in the shop. So we'll slip this back on here like it was. So there's only 1 bolt holding the pipe for the heater hose. Remove that bolt. Pull this out first. Of course, you have to undo a bolt back here on the thermostat housing, and we move it off to the side. And then we'll go ahead and pull this, pop the thermostat out, and now everything is exposed and opened up. I then got the hoses undone, the cap is off, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the water on now, and we'll flush through that system. Again, guys, I apologize. It is bright out here. I can hardly see that screen. I'm using my cell phone to do this. And maybe I get a few more videos going, we'll do better. But anyway, what I do generally is I make sure that my radiator flows nicely. Bottom hose is flowing like really nice. Also, go into the engine block and see if it flows on the back side. There's no debris. Obviously, everything is clean, as you can see. Go to the heater hose. Again, flowing really nicely. Go to the back of the pipe. And there that is, coming through the heater core. I hope I got that in the shot. Can't tell, but it's coming through the heater core. Running really nicely. So there's no stoppage there whatsoever. I'll wash that off a little bit. Get this out of the way. Back into the block. Nice and clear. Doesn't have any debris. So I don't think there's anything to worry about on this vehicle here. I don't see anything. We can go backwards. As you can see, it's flowing really nicely. It's building very little pressure. Okay guys, back inside. In the meantime, I'll blowed out the engine, dried it all up. As it is our habit here, we use compressed air to do it. Shop vac will do the same thing for those of you that don't have compressed air. We're going to start by cleaning the housing. What I got here is a red Scotch-Brite pad. We'll just take it and rub it and see if we can do any good. So I normally try not to use a grinder unless I absolutely have to. Same on the other side. Normally clean it right up. It's pretty good, no complaints there. Do the other hose. Wow, that's on there. Ooh, we're going to use the grinder on this one. That one is not looking so hot. That's what I use here is actually a polishing wheel on a bench grinder. It's not a wire wheel, not a grinding wheel, it's actually a polishing wheel. I think this will be good enough. Hey guys, as I said earlier, got two thermostats in this vehicle. They're not the same diameter, you can't mix them up. Fits, does not fit. We're going to do the same thing here on the faces, clean it up best we can. Use a little spritz of brake cleaner here. Clean this surface. Just for the simple reason the gasket is. Okay, we got a gasket on. I just realized I was out of memory on the phone, so get this in. Let's get this thermostat in here. Thermostat sits that way with the back pointing toward the outlet inlet. Two nuts. Two bolts. Obviously the one bolt on the back side. Oops. One bolt on the bottom somewhere. Trying to stay out of the way of the camera. Always remember, after tight comes extremely loose. Place that back in the same spot. Cam sensor, temp sending unit. Actually, I changed my mind. Yikes. Reason I said I changed my mind, I will be checking these two connections here, make sure there's no corrosion buildup underneath, and there was a little, so we'll get this cleaned up. Take a look at the hoses. Which I already checked the hoses earlier. just hooked up was a little wire loom connector. Get this hooked back up. Other side, I've already had it cleaned up, checked the O-ring. I guess it would be worth showing. I did not think about it, but I'm gonna focus. Here we go. This O-ring. We want to make sure that O-ring is good condition. As it is my habit, I will lubricate it up just a little bit. Makes it slide. Okay, to show you guys this, there's a bolt underneath of here. We want to run that bolt up by hand, all the way up against it, before we tighten this bolt. If you'll tighten this before, and this is not all the way in, down here, if this is not all the way into the bore, you're asking for trouble. Always remember, start both of them by hand, tighten this one here first, go back to this bolt, finish tightening it. After that, we're going to address the other thermostat. It will go into the block like this. It'll sit like this when it's all said and done. Housing has already been cleaned up. Having a bit of technical difficulties here. Seems like I can't start a bolt. connecting the bottom hose. Okay guys, all that's hooked back up. I'm going to go ahead and put the intake duct back on. Almost forgot to put the cable back into the clip. Oops. So you can see guys, that's a pretty quick job. Nothing much to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and prepare the antifreeze for it. I normally mix my own. I don't use the 50-50. We're going to put a universal antifreeze coolant in this car on the request of the customer. They did not want to put the more expensive Asian coolant in here, so car's also got a 250,000 miles on it, so I don't blame them. It's a work car. It's not their daily driver, so to speak. So I'll get that all mixed up and I'll be back. I guess to also say that, since people always ask about what tools people use, this is just El Cheapo Harbor Freight. Had that thing for 6 years, something. 6, maybe even 7 years, and really it's not giving me no problems. It's always worked. I've really had no complaints with it yet, so sometimes, you don't need them expensive tools. Something like that works just fine. Like I said, we use this stuff all the time, and I've not had any problems with it whatsoever. Here's another all-time favorite of ours. Seen that in many videos. Tool is the airlift. Again, I've had it for quite some time. And again, I check it both ways. Oh, sorry about the shaking, but as I said, we check it both ways. We leave it under vacuum for a while. Make sure it don't go nowhere. As you can see, it flattens out all the hoses. Pulls a nice vacuum in the whole system. That way, when you're filling it up, you eliminate air pockets. Again, guys, we've been waiting for some time now, and gauge has not moved at all, so we'll give her a go now. And I'm going to say this again, I normally do never ever recommend using a universal antifreeze. That this was done by the customer request, and I do not argue with my customers. Well, we're about down to the last little bit. Go ahead and close this off. And before I forget, I guess it's worth mentioning, already had cleaned my bucket, cleaned it, dried it, and always use distilled water. I don't mix with tap water at all. Always use distilled water. I get it at Walmart, really cheap. And as you can see, all the way filled up. Guys, I'm going to end that video here. I'm going to have to put the front air duct on it, but other than that, I'm fixing to take the vehicle back outside and let it sit and idle, make sure she don't get hot. Thanks for watching.